You guys, I'm so excited. I finally get to do some making with the new Iron Orchid designs, and I might have went a little overboard, but I like to set really high goals for myself, and I have pulled all of this from my stash to Makeover in today's mega thrift flip video using the new Iron Orchid Designs spring collection release. So if you're ready, let's see if we can get this done. Hey y'all, Susie from the not so far off future. So I did get all the projects done, but I also had some technical difficulties with editing, so I wasn't able to get them all edited, but I promise I will get the rest of them for you guys next week. These turned out amazing, and I can't wait for you to see all of them, but I got several in today's video done, so let's get to it. I am starting with this Kleenex tissue cover. I've had it a long time, and I tried to sell it as is. It looks hand painted, but it's not selling, so I'm going to do something a little more subtle on it and see if it will sell. So I already took it outside and I sprayed it with a couple of coats of shellac, although I am using DIY clay-based paint that will stick to about anything. I wanted to help it along just a little bit, so I sprayed 2 coats of shellac just to help this paint. And the color I'm using is crinoline. It's a really pretty off-white color, and I will probably be using this color a lot today. Because one thing about mass making is the fewer products you can use, the easier it will be. And I do have a lot of IOD I want to use today. I am doing this because I made a promise to myself. Because what happens is when the new Iron Orchid design releases come out, I usually do a video using every single product. Well, I can only do the one project, and then I get busy. I don't get to use all of my transfer packs, and I have promised myself that I'm going to use up everything. Maybe not in this video, but I'm going to use up my entire transfer packs. So I got to let that dry. I'll do a second coat, and then we'll come back with the next step. While that's drying, this, I think I'd spray painted this a while ago. It's just a jar, probably a honey jar. I save everything, and I'm sure I had a plan for this at some point that I didn't get to. So I'm going to go ahead and do it with this crinoline as well. And maybe anything else I can find over here. This little hanging thing, I tried to sell it as is. It hasn't sold. I'm going to go ahead and paint it in crinoline as well. This is from the La Lapine mold. It's just that pretty floral arrangement, and I am going to put it onto this little fan trivet, hanging trivet. But first I did it with resin, so I'm going to paint it with crinoline, same as I did that, before I glue it on there. I could glue it on and paint it on there, but it's resin. It's hard enough already for me to paint, so I'm just going to do it right here. Once the paint is dry, I'm going to use Titebond Quick and Thick and glue this on. Making sure you get all the way to the edges with your glue, but not very thick because you don't want it seeping out everywhere. Once my glue sets up, I'm going to go ahead and seal it with Big Top before the final step. Okay, once the Big Top is dry, I'm going to take Fusion Antiquing Glaze and go over the entire thing. And that glaze will settle down into those details of the mold and the, what is this? A fireplace fan type thing. To use a wet wipe just over the mold here and bring back that crinoline from underneath. And this is why I sealed it, because this is wet and obviously it would have reactivated my paint underneath there too. Go ahead and wipe a lot of it off. After the glaze dried, I put a pretty little lace bow on it. For this little syrup bottle or whatever it is, I did poured one of the crosses from the LaCroix mold here, and I don't know if y'all saw Sonnet's video where he did the guitar case, but I fell in love with the crosses painted black with gold on it. So that's what I'm gonna do with this one. So before I glue this down, I'm gonna go ahead and paint it with Fusion Coal Black, and then I will take a little antique gold rub and buff and go over all the high parts. And finally, I used a little Tite Bond Quick and Thick to glue the cross onto my jar. I also hot glued a piece of lace over the top rim and added a moody little floral arrangement. This is the lace stamp, and I was really surprised. This one did not sell as quickly as I thought it would, because y'all, this is perfect. Look at that. So I'm going to use this on around this, and I want it to be a bit subtle. I did have to do 3 coats on this. So whenever you first get your IOD stamps, the first thing you want to do is season them with a very light grit sandpaper, just the first time before you use it. That'll just help them be able to take your ink. So I'm going to use stone gray ink, and I'm not going to go, even though this will cover the whole thing, I'm actually just going to go to about halfway with it, all the way around. I also stamped another one of the dainty laces over the top. Now it's time to get into the Saint-Ouen transfer book. Y'all, this book is gorgeous. It's got beautiful florals. I went through and I picked out some matching type florals and just cut out things that I might want to use on this napkin or Kleenex tissue holder. And I also cut out this wreath with a little label inside it, which is actually the one that I ended up using on here. Iron Orchid design transfers are so easy to use and such an amazing way to upcycle your old forgotten items. They all come with this tool, and you just remove the white backing, lay it on your surface, and rub until the image releases onto your project. The last thing you'll need to do is seal it up. I first thought about going all the way around, but then I decided just to put a couple of matching florals up on the top, and then I sealed it with Big Top, and this one is complete, and it turned out really amazing, and I know that it's going to sell now. While I was pouring those crosses, I did a couple more. And I'm going to put them on this little Dollar Tree planter. It does have this little embossed area, but I think that that will actually accent this perfectly once I paint it. So I'm going to do the 3 crosses here, perfect for Easter. And then I did this little emblem to put on top of there. So I'm going to glue these down, and then we'll paint it all together. After the glue has dried, I'm going to paint this entire thing with DIY Apothecary. It's a clay-based paint. This color never fails me. It always looks amazing on everything that I put it on. I'm going to finish this off with white wax, but first I am going to do a little bit of wet distressing on it because I like to do that with metal underneath. And also because more than likely when I rub on and buff out this wax, it's going to distress it a little bit anyway. So I might as well do it on purpose. To add the wax, I just use a soft bristle wax brush and go over the entire thing. And then I'll take a paper towel and buff back, especially over the tops of the crosses, to bring back a lot of that apothecary underneath. To finish this off, I did a pretty little floral arrangement in it, and it turned out super cute. Love the LaCroix mold. Always love finding and making over are these letter, whatever they's called, bill organizers and letters. This one's a perfect size and it's in great sturdy condition. We're just going to paint it up and put transfers on it from the lovely Emily Claire. To paint it, I'm going to use Fusion in the color Cashmere. It's just a beautiful off-white, and Fusion paint has a built-in sealer, so once I get this painted I can just slap those transfers right on, and making this an easy mass make, which is what I'm doing today, trying to get as many things made and out of my stash as I can, get them out on the sales floor and listed on the website. After applying 2 coats of the Fusion Cashmere, it's time to add the transfers. And y'all, I cannot express how much I love this Emily Claire transfer book. It's full of just beautiful pastel florals and butterflies and birds, and most importantly, if you know me, it has lots of kitty cats. So, and also when you are applying transfers over Fusion paint, because it has that built-in sealer, it goes on so perfectly easy. All that's left to do with this one is seal it up, and it's perfect. tarnished silver pitcher at the Goodwill bins. I didn't notice it was missing a foot, but I probably still would have got it anyway because as you can see, it stands up just fine without it. So I'm going to upcycle it and I'm going to give it 2 coats of Fusion Cashmere all over, except for I'm leaving those 3 feet and the handle, the silver. And while I'm at it, I pulled out a round silver platter. I have a bunch of these in my stash. They don't sell as is, so I love to upcycle them. And I also gave it 2 coats of that same cashmere fusion paint. I'm applying one of the transfers from the St. Ouen transfer book. And when you're applying a transfer onto a curved surface, I highly recommend doing it in small sections. I cut this floral up into 4 sections, and the IOD transfers have those grid lines. So if you cut right on the grid line, it makes it so easy to line up your image to where when you do get it transferred, you can't even find the seam. And in this case, with a really curved surface like that, it's very helpful, so that way you don't have any cracking, any lifting as you're applying on one side. And I was able to get this transferred down perfectly with no cracking or lifting or layering, all the things that can happen when you try to put a large transfer on a curved surface. I also did one of the matching little florals on that top part. And now for the tray or the platter, I really want to layer with this bust and some floral and just make it look like all of that is busting out of the head. So that's what I did. I just started layering these transfers. I started with this large floral, and then I put the bust in front of it, and then I added in lots of florals around the crown of the head, and then I added butterflies and labels and just really filled this up until I got it looking exactly like I want it. And y'all, these turned out so stunning together. You're about to see the images, but they really do not do justice to how beautiful these are together, and I just know someone is going to love them as much as I do. I picked up this massive cutting board at Goodwill for only $2.99. I'm pretty sure it's over 2 feet tall. It's been used, so I'm going to paint it and upcycle it. And to do that, we're going to use a paint inlay. So I am using DIY clay-based paint in the color Crinoline. This is that soft off-white color that I used in the beginning of this video. And clay-based paints are perfect for putting inlays on because they're water activated, and so are the inlays. So I just did 2 coats, and the 3rd coat is what we're going to layer the inlay in. I picked out a couple of these black and white images from the Hama de la Reine inlay, and I'm cutting it down to size and placing it how I want it. To put the inlays on, you need to apply another layer of paint, and I'm going to apply a pretty thick layer. Then I will mist my paint inlay on the paint side and lay the paint side into the wet paint using my fingers to smooth it all out into the wet paint. I'm going to repeat the same steps for the other piece, and then I also added a few little butterflies and a couple of other little inlays from that same pack. Now I re-wet them one more time and let them dry, and now that they're dry, I'm misting them, letting them sit just a minute and slowly peeling that inlay back, and the magic is happening here. That image is now transferred into my paint. Now your inlays are still water soluble at this point, so you'll need to seal them. And once that one dried, I took it outside and sealed it with a spray polyacrylic. That's just the easiest way to seal inlays for me. I also distressed the board, and now I love to add in color with black and white. So I've pulled all these gorgeous transfers from the Madeline transfer book, and I'm just arranging it on here. And y'all have seen me apply transfers many times in this video, so I'm going to save you all that, and we're going to go right to the reveal. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, and don't forget you can get all the painting products at SusieOnTheFarm.com, which I will link below, and also most of these projects are still available. And I'm sorry I didn't get to all of the projects that I wanted to get in this video, but I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek of them now. So be sure that you are following along and subscribe to my channel, and next week you'll see how I made over the rest of these items.